Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Caleb, and this is the start to a series on the Chia blockchain and cryptocurrency. So we're going to go through everything you need to know to get started with Chia, how to set it up, how to start farming, how to make sure everything is working correctly, as well as just getting a better understanding of Chia and blockchain in general. I understand this might be new to many of you, so we're going to go from the complete basics, starting with what even is a blockchain and why it is interesting and what makes Chia special. Well, to start off, Chia is designed to be more decentralized and more environmentally friendly compared to other cryptocurrencies out there. So when I first learned about Chia, I saw it as a potential cryptocurrency of the future. Now, the initial goal of the blockchain is to be able to send value from one person to another in a decentralized peer-to-peer manner. So this means there's not a centralized node or computer controlling the entire network. Rather, it's decentralized across many computers across the world. In the case of Chia, you can expect about 160,000 nodes. So that means 160,000 computers are running the Chia blockchain software. Now you can learn more about Chia at chia.net, including their white paper if you're interested in more of their approach, or you can just go through the documentation or download Chia if you want to get started. So there's multiple versions on here, so you'll want to grab the one for your operating system. So we'll get back to that, but for now, if you take a look at the Chia homepage, scrolling through here, you can learn more about their goals. It's secure, employing the first new Nakamoto consensus since 2009. So this has a similar consensus mechanism to that of Bitcoin, and it offers the Chia Lisp programming language. So what this means is not only can you use the Chia blockchain to send the Chia cryptocurrency, sending value from one person to another, but you can build decentralized applications on top of the blockchain as well. So the approach of Chia is a bit different than what you might be familiar with from other cryptocurrencies. Specifically, the consensus is known as proof of space and time and uses a small fraction of energy compared to Bitcoin or Ethereum. Now, the way this all works is you actually fill up hard drive space as your contribution to the network. And when you do this, you get rewarded Chia. And this process of having your hard drive space earn you Chia is known as farming. You might be familiar with mining and other cryptocurrencies. Well, farming is the Chia equivalent. So that is how you can earn Chia. If you want more details on how Chia works technically, you can see that they have a green paper, which will talk about their technology as well as information on the consensus. The idea of consensus is if you have multiple nodes around the world, how do you get them to all agree? Well, you have to define rules in code, where every single node follows the same rules for it to be a valid node of the blockchain. As for adding blocks to the chain, a single node is chosen to confirm the next block and is given a reward in Chia. Every bit of hard drive space that you have that's allocated for Chia acts as a chance for you to be that lucky node. So hard drive storage is the magic that makes Chia work. Where the more storage you have, it gives you more chances of winning and validating a block. This is different than proof of work, which requires giving up computing power, or think of graphics cards or ASIC miners. And it's different than proof of stake, which requires setting aside a certain amount of money and in a way putting that money at risk if something goes wrong, in addition to not being able to use that money for something else during that time. In all of these consensus mechanisms, the contributor gives up something that is scarce. So a scarce resource, either storage, computing power, or staked money, in exchange for a reward. So we're going to talk about how to set up a system where you have hard drive space contributing to the network, and then you have the ability to win Chia, and we'll make sure everything's working. So that is the goal of this series. In the next episode, we're going to go through the step-by-step to set up the Chia blockchain, but for a quick preview, it's going to look something like this, where you have a certain number of plots which measure your space contributing to the network, and this will give you a chance of winning. Now, if you are wondering what these plots look like, well, they're just files. You can see my plots here. I have 7 of them, which is not very many. I think if you really want to give this a shot, I'd recommend starting with just a single external hard drive, but you can just start with the computer you're on with the space that you have. But there's nothing special about these files. You can move them around just like any other file. Just keep in mind that the file size is very large, so it can take up quite a bit of space on your computer. That's exactly what happened to me, where I was like, oh no, where's all my space? Well, I totally forgot I had these plots here. That's why using external storage can be nice, because you can put a lot of plots on there and you don't give up your main computer storage. Right now I'm storing these on flash storage, but you could store them on a normal hard drive, which is cheaper. Now, 7 plots is not very many, so my estimated time to win is 22 years, which is kind of a long time. So they did introduce the pooling protocol, which allows you to have more consistent rewards of Chia based on your space contribution. Now, you might be familiar with pooling if you've done mining for other cryptocurrencies, but the way Chia does it is a little bit different. It's set up so that the individual farmer, such as me here, is the one who confirms the block rather than the pool, which helps reduce centralization because pools do not have the ability to execute 51% attacks. Whereas in these other cryptocurrencies, it's often the case that just 1, 2, or 3 pools will control the majority of the network, and this can be very dangerous for the network, and it also reduces trust in that network. This isn't the case for Chia even if a single pool following the official protocol operated over 50% of the network. And that's because the blocks are farmed by individual farmers rather than the pool. So a 51% attack is only possible with an extremely large pool using an unofficial client, or by a farmer who manages to gather half the network worth of storage, which would be extremely time consuming to plot and extremely expensive. So that's just another example of how Chia is decentralized. Now, as mentioned earlier, the Chia blockchain is not only useful for sending the Chia cryptocurrency, it is also useful for building decentralized applications, with the most basic of these being tokens. So these are cryptocurrencies built on top of the Chia blockchain. So here's an example of some of the tokens I have in my wallet. You can see I have some Chia, indicated with XCH, and then I also have some of these other tokens that were built on top of Chia. In addition to tokens, there is the ability to craft NFTs and build decentralized applications, and we will be exploring some of that in this series, although that might be dedicated to another series in the future. But if you are interested in seeing a bit on how that works, I encourage you to read through some of the pages on chialisp.com, which is Chia's on-chain language for decentralized applications. They have a starter guide, so if you go to the documentation under Getting Started, Intro to Chia Lisp, this will give you pretty much the hello world of decentralized applications on Chia and is a great way to get started. But let's get back to what we were saying. So the next episode, I'm going to show you how to set everything I have up here, and that'll get you started so that you can start farming and earning the Chia cryptocurrency. Hopefully this is exciting and you're looking forward to the next episodes. I will see you in the next one, and I'll drop these in a playlist as well. So if you just want to watch all the videos one after the other, you can use that playlist link to watch through them. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.